Pragmatists took a dynamic shift from traditional philosophy, which was concerned about theoretical wisdom, and focused instead on practical wisdom, knowledge that could be applied to improve everyday life. The distinction between the two was first made by Aristotle back in 300 BC. Since that time, arguments for the theoretical made by the traditional schools of rationalism and empiricism dominated the philosophical arena up until this point. The rationalists believed that knowledge came from reason, while the empiricists claimed that beliefs were developed through observed data through the senses. The pragmatists broke the mold and took a fundamentally different approach to the question of philosophy. Instead of theorizing about how one can come to knowledge, they emphasized how knowledge is obtained by living life and learning from it. This was a fundamental shift from the theoretician to the craftsman. This movement took place in America in the 19th century. It was a time when science was making major progress, and America continued to grow as a nation. The eyes of the philosophical world turned its attention to the American pragmatists, with the most prominent being Charles Peirce. Pragmatism is often referred to as the classical American philosophy. These ideas were developed by Peirce and can be seen in many aspects of our lives today, especially in American business and religion. The foremost of the pragmatists was Charles Sanders Peirce. He was first a scientist before he was a philosopher. Like many previous philosophers, Peirce saw the principles found in scientific theory as applicable to everyday life, and he used his scientific background to support his philosophical views. In fact, it was Peirce that coined the term pragmatism to describe his views. His writings centered on belief, knowledge, and its various practical implications. According to Peirce, one of the main objectives of philosophy is to overcome doubt. One manifests their belief through natural habits and actions, and the opposite is doubt, which is not knowing what to do. To illustrate, you would naturally walk across a room to flip the switch to turn on the light because you believe it will give you light. If you didn't have this belief, you would simply be in utter confusion of how to obtain light. It is on this point Peirce disagrees with Descartes, who doubts everything and struggles with solipsism, or the idea that you cannot be sure of anything other than yourself. Pragmatists accept the fact that one cannot have complete doubt. Actions and habits are the result of beliefs. To say you doubt everything is living in denial, a frivolous struggle with reality. Peirce compares various methods one might use to overcome doubt. He defines the following four. First, tenacity, where one creates an answer for themselves and fixating on that answer. The benefits to this approach are that it would resolve any doubt. However, this method can lead to false beliefs and can result in fanaticism. This method doesn't work because everyone can believe differently. Second is authority, where beliefs are defined by an authority. The benefit of this method is unification, but just like before, different authorities have different views, which can eventually lead to doubt, so this method doesn't work either. The third is natural preferences, where answers that are obvious, agreeable to reason, and self-evident should be accepted. But what is obvious to one isn't necessarily obvious to another. This method is still subject to individual taste and does not produce a standard, so this is still not the best method to resolve doubt. The fourth is science. This is where Peirce's scientific background comes into play. Beliefs are now set to an independent standard outside of individual taste and beliefs. In other words, anyone who experiments with various principles to overcome doubt should arrive at the same solution. It also relies on public method, meaning the belief should be determined by all those that it affects. This is identical to utilitarianism. The entire purpose of using this method is to enable one to discard doubt and pursue a course of action that would improve life. Notice here that these methods only result in principles. It is through the application of such principles that lead to practical actions. Again, the emphasis is on practical wisdom. This is the triumph of the craftsman over the theoreticians. The craftsman is the one who is on the ground, applying principles to build actual solutions. For example, a builder applies the principles of geometry, physics, and architecture to build majestic structures. These great feats are not the products of monks or gurus up in the mountains pondering their navels, as some theoreticians would believe. What's more, the essence of hands-on experience leads to further inquiry and the improvement of beliefs. In a sense, we are all craftsmen. As we go on about our daily lives, we make decisions based on our beliefs and principles. We eat certain foods because we believe it is beneficial to our health. We make career decisions as we believe it will lead to success. Yet as we learn and discover new principles, it leads us to doubt our current beliefs. Then, as we experiment on the new principle and find it is true, we discard old habits. Again, it is the purpose of pragmatism is to improve our beliefs, not to become certain of them. These principles still resonate strongly with many Americans today. The American dream is the ethos that anyone can achieve success in life, according to their own ability or achievement. This idea can be seen in all throughout Peirce's pragmatism, which is why it is often attributed to be an American philosophy. To put things in historical context, during the lifetime of Peirce during the 19th century, new innovations in science. There is a relatively new business idea that is rapidly growing amongst entrepreneurs in startup businesses known as the lean startup. The idea is that businesses can be done right by continually testing and revising ideas in small amounts to eliminate uncertainty. This is the very essence of pragmatism, to eliminate uncertainty through applying and revising ideas. Many pragmatic views can be seen in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, which also happens to be often referred to as the quintessential American religion. When Joseph Smith, the founder, was asked how he governed so many followers, he replied, "I teach them correct principles, and they govern themselves." He knew that good leadership wasn't from managing every minute aspect of life, but from teaching overarching principles that can be used in specific applications. The Latter-day Saint also believes heavily on practical action. One scripture which is often quoted and memorized by many members is James 2:18. "Yea, a man may say, Thou hast faith, and I have works. Show me thy faith without thy works, and I will show thee my faith by my works." In other words, theoretical wisdom alone isn't satisfactory. The importance comes into application. As LDS missionaries go out to share their beliefs, they don't take the approach that all other faiths are completely wrong, but they invite others to keep all the truth they have and add to any true principles they already cherish. They invite them to discover this truth through experimentation, to test beliefs as to their merit, from which point can be discarded or reaffirmed. This is exactly how Peirce suggests the point of improving our beliefs, to keep all the true principles which will be beneficial to the individual as well as the society, and continue to improve by discarding false beliefs and embracing new truths as they are found. Since the introduction of pragmaticism, philosophy has never been the same. The shift from theoretical wisdom to practical wisdom requires action. It has been a guiding thread that influenced science, business, and religion. It influenced successive philosophers who furthered this thought, as seen in Heidegger's ontological system of being and Whitehead's process philosophy. They both advocated a return to the practical application in their systems of thought. Pragmatism resolves the dichotomy between the intellectual life of concepts and beliefs and the practical life of actions and enjoyments.